Good morning and welcome to everyone here on the venue and everyone listening in at home. I'm Jillian O'Mara, together in the commentary tower with Branko Kuzele. We're going to bring you all the action here for this full day of racing at the World Rowing Cup 1 in Zagreb. The weather looks fantastic here out on the venue. The lake is flat. There's sun shining, a few clouds, but mostly sun shining, and very little wind as we're about to get underway with the AB semi-final of the men's double sculls. But Branko, this is your home course, and how exciting is it for you to have an event here in Zagreb?
Well, we are all so glad to have the World Cup here. You know, for 2 years, a team of 100 people in organization work, prepare things and so on. At the moment, we have approximately 140 volunteers trying to help to make comfortable to all the crews that came and the people who are accompanying them. Also, we need to invest approximately some 20 million kunas here to prepare the venue for the World Cup, and hoping that we'll get even more, so that we need more investment if we are trying to get the World Championship. As much as I heard, on 2023 the World Cup is going to be again here. Jillian, I hope that we are going to see each other then here. And this is something that can be a new wind for rowing family, not only in Zagreb but in Croatia. I know that a lot of my friends from rowing world in Croatia are going to come together today to see live what's going on, because it's one thing when you're watching that on the TV set, and the second is when you can feel the let's say the smell of racing here, to hear it live, to see the people who you really look like some kind of rowing idols. For instance, Olaf Tufte, his best man Istok Chop is here, also working something out of for rowing and so on. So it's totally different atmosphere when it's happening in your yard.
Absolutely, yes. So a very quick welcome, maybe a couple words in Croatian for people listening in, and then we head up to the start line.
Dakle, još jedanput pozdrav svima. Evo, dijeli nas samo još nekih 2 minute do početka prvih polufinalnih utrka. Upravo smo sada malo samo rekli da je na ovom projektu u 2 godine sudjelovalo oko 100 ljudi u organizaciji, nekakvih 140 vas volontera kojima ovim putem posebno zahvaljujem na svom trudu. Investirano je oko 20 milijuna kuna, biti će potrebno još napraviti zahvata i investicija ukoliko želimo dobiti i svjetsko prvenstvo, a kako sada stvari stoje, 2023. godine ćemo imati ponovno svjetski kup. I idemo sada na utrke.
Okay. Start list, please.
We're up at the start line for the first race of the day, the AB semi-final in the men's double sculls. In lane 1, Estonia won. In lane 2, the Czech Republic. In lane 3, Poland. In lane 4, France. In lane 5, Hungary. And in lane 6, Croatia 3.
Uskoro će početi prve utrke, dakle to je utrka dvojaca skull za muškarce. U prvoj pruzi Estonija, 1, u drugoj Češka, u trećoj Poljska, u četvrtoj Francuska, u petoj Mađarska i u šestoj treća posada Hrvatske.
Just 10 seconds to go until this race gets underway. The conditions looking beautiful out there on the water. The water's almost a green color of blue. Fantastic to see. But I think we are just about to get underway with this AB semi-final of the men's double sculls. Again, 3 through to the A final. And yes, they're off there. We have a start. We're underway. And I'll take you out. We have live commentary out there on the course. Our first commentators, Kat Holloway and Peter Millen, are out there on the course following alongside this race.
We take this, okay? Yeah.
Good morning from the first day of this packed lineup we've got here on Saturday. An amazing feat from the athletes, the organising committee and the FISA events committee to bring tomorrow's schedule into today's racing. So here we've got a semi-final and these boats are fighting it out for 3 slots in the A final later today. So here, 250 metres gone, fantastic start from the French double, no surprises there. Also the Czech Republic moving so well at this stage.
Pa dobar dan svima na početku današnjeg programa. Prva današnja utrka dvojci na pariće krenula je kako se očekivalo u vodstvu trenutno posada Francuske, evropski prvaci, ovogodišnje iz Vareza, za sad uvjerljivo u vodstvu, a usko ih prate posada Mađarske, Poljske i Češke. Za sada, kao što smo rekli, posada Francuske u uvjerljivom vodstvu. Kao što smo najavili, u ovoj utrci nastupa posada Hrvatske, za sada na 6. mjestu. Drže priključak za posadom Estonije. Za sada Patrik Papac drže 6. mjesto. Patrik Papac i Michael Giroto na 6. mjestu.
Through that first timing marker, the French have increased their lead now. They've got a length advantage over the Czech Republic, who continue to maintain this second position in the race. But close to them is Poland now, a quarter of a length down, a nice rhythm coming from this Polish crew. The French look really strong. They made a great comeback at the European Championships just a few weeks ago, taking the win there, and it looks absolutely great from this crew now. So Mathias Androdies, Hugo Boucheron from the Cercle de Lyon club in France. So the French rowing system has some changes coming into it this year, and with a new technical director of sport and Jürgen Grobler coming into the mix for a coaching influence. So these guys have great things to look at for the season ahead as they look ahead to Tokyo. But here for the semi-final, we're looking at 3 boats to qualify for the A final. The French look great and strong out in front. They've now got a clear water advantage they've created through the second quarter of the race ahead of Poland. And this Polish pair, they really have a strong, nice, fluid rhythm together. They've come through the Czech Republic now into second place. This lineup from Czech is a new lineup. In the stroke seat is the former lightweight Jan Sinsebuch, now rowing with Jakub Podrazil. They're moving really well together, but just being outsmarted through the second quarter by this Polish double.
Približavamo se oznaci 1000 metara, odnosno prošli smo oznaku 1000 metara i dalje u uvjerljivom vodstvu posada Francuske, na 2. mjestu posada Poljske i 3. pozicija trenutno Češka. Ove 3 posade nastupile su i na proteklom europskom prvenstvu u Varezeu i u otrci se očekivalo da će biti ovakav rasplet. Za sad dominacija Francuske, ali ni posada Poljske ni Češke ne zaostaje puno. Posada Hrvatske i dalje na 6. mjestu, trenutno sa nešto većim zaostatkom za posadom Mađarske i ostaje nam do cilja nekih 750 metara.
Moving through this third quarter of the race, the front 3 crews have established their positions here. They look really solid out in front. We've established a good margin of clear water between the 3rd place crew and the 4th place crew. So I feel confident to say that if the race can progress like this, the French, the Polish, the Czech crews will be taking their place in the A final. So let's have a look back from these crews to the 4th place crew, which is the lineup from Estonia, Pulak and Kustein. They're holding on to this 4th place. They've got a good advantage ahead of the Hungarian crew in 5th place. Now, this Hungarian crew had a really smart and technical start. They moved the boat really well, and their bow ball was in front for the first 3 strokes of the race. They've got a very clean technique, perhaps not as powerful as some of the other boats here. They're riding in 5th. And back from them is this boat Croatia 3.
Hrvatska i dalje na 6. poziciji. Utrka se raspliće prema kraju. Pozicije su zacementirane do kraja, tako da posada Francuske, Poljske i Češke ima zagarantiran prolazak u finale A. Manje od 500 metara do cilja. Posada Hrvatske i dalje na 6. mjestu, iako sa malim zaostatkom za posadom Mađarske, koja je u prvom dijelu utrke čak i nekih 200 metara i bila na prvoj poziciji ispred Francuske, ali sada su vrlo zaostali i naša posada, odnosno Hrvatska, ih stiže.
So we're coming through this last quarter of the race, and it's really solid from the French up here in front, followed by Poland and the Czech Republic. It's looking great for these crews to qualify for the A final.
That's absolutely right, Kat. A dominant performance from the French, as we'd expect. They've actually taken their rate down slightly. They're just tapping it along as they come up towards the finish line. But Estonia on the near side of the course, out there at 37 strokes a minute, trying to see if they can get back into a qualifying position.
Ekipe se približavaju cilju, vjerujem da možete sada vidjeti, trenutno u vodstvu je Francuska, iza nje je Poljska i nakon kao treći idu Česi. To će vjerovatno biti 3 posade koje će ući u današnje finale. Naša posada Cesarec i Papac se bori, ali nažalost za sada su 6. Pa ćemo vidjeti još nekoliko trenutaka do prolaska kroz cilj.
So coming up to the line, France having done enough early on in this race to secure that spot. Poland will come across in second, and the Czech Republic hold off the Estonian challenge to take the third spot into the A final. Estonia coming through in fourth. They will head to the B final, and then just a little bit of open water back to Hungary and Croatia 3, who will join them in the B final.
Dakle, možemo sada reći u finale idu posade Francuske, Poljske i Češke, a u B finalu nastupiti će Estonija, Mađarska i posada 3 Hrvatske.
Just a quick reminder for those here at the venue that the lower road is closed for cycling. It is reserved for TV, the TV car at this point. So the lower road is closed for cycling.
Samo da napomenemo da je ova donja cesta koja je uz jezero zatvorena za bicikliste i pratnje zbog potrebe televizije i njihovog kombija koji će voziti po toj cesti.
On the course now, the AB semi-final, the second AB semi-final of the men's double sculls. In lane 1, Finland. In lane 2, the Netherlands. In lane 3, Germany 1. In lane 4, Switzerland 1. In lane 5, Switzerland 2. And in lane 6, Germany 2. They're already coming up towards the 1,000-meter mark, so we'll catch up with our commentators out there on the water. Tim van Vliet and Branimir Flingish.
Yeah, thanks, Jilly. We're approaching the 1,000-meter mark, and an impressive push from the Dutch in lane number 2. They were down in the start of the race, dropping back, but they are moving to the front, having a very good second 500 meters, and are drawing level with the crew from Switzerland. Switzerland won with Roersi and the
stazi 1.
So a great rivalry here in the AB semi-final. 1, 2 and 3. The Swiss look very good out in front. The Germans seem to be content with second place, and the Dutch are slipping back with just 250 meters left to row.
That's right, Tim, and I think the closest to them might be that Germany 2 crew. They'll be seeing if they can push up and get one of those 3 spots into the A final, but coming towards the line, still looking good for Switzerland out in front.
Kao što možemo vidjeti, približavaju se dublovi druge skupine polufinala. U vodstvu za sada Švicarska, za njima ide Njemačka, pa posada Nizozemske i tu su još posade Švicarske 2, Njemačke 2 i Finske.
Into the final strokes here, and Switzerland still out in the lead. Germany putting in just a bit of a push here, trying to get their final speed good for this afternoon's A final, but they're looking set to make that place. So Switzerland crossing the line first, then followed by Germany 1 and the Netherlands. They'll be followed by Germany 2, Switzerland 2 through to the B final, and Finland coming through in 6th, also going through to the B final.
Kroz cilj prvi su prošli veslači Švicarske, prve posade, zatim Njemačka prva posada, Nizozemska kao treća i tu su još kao četvrti Švicarska druga posada, peta je Njemačka druga posada i evo sada kroz cilj prolazi ekipa Finske.
On the course now, the first AB semi-final of the men's single sculls. In lane 1, Hungary 1. In lane 2, Turkey. In lane 3, Lithuania 1. In lane 4, the Czech Republic. In lane 5, Tunisia. And in lane 6, Slovenia 2.
U prvoj utrci polufinala muških samaca u stazi broj 1 nastupa Mađarska 1, u stazi 2 Turska, u stazi 3 Litva, u stazi 4 Čehoslovačka, u stazi 5 Tunis i u stazi 6 Slovenija 2.
Looking at the times from yesterday's racing, we might expect Saulės Ritter of Lithuania 1 to be out in front, and that he is as they come up on the 800-meter mark.
Yes, Saulės Ritter's in great form. It's great to see him racing in the single scull. Normally we see him in the crew boats. He and his doubles partner, Griskonis, are in the singles here at the World Cup. They had that silver medal from the Rio Olympic Games back in 2016. And I don't know what the psychology is behind having them in singles here, but Saulės Ritter is moving really well through this first half of the semi-final.
Izvrsna borba u prvoj grupi muških skifova, za sada na prvom mjestu Saulės Ritter za Litvu, ali iza njega se vodi velika borba. Za sada drugo mjesto drži Ondrej Sinek za Češku, ali izvrsno vesla Filip Matej Pfeiffer za Sloveniju, koji je i prvih 500 metara utrke prošao na prvom mjestu. Tu je i posada Turske i Tunisa, koja je još u igri za preostala 2 mjesta, odnosno 1 mjesto u polufinalu.
So Saulės Ritter continues to lead, a length down on him. Ondrej Šinec from the Czech Republic makes his comeback to the single scull. They had an experiment in the double scull, putting him with Jakub Podrazil, and now Šinec's back in the single. He just had a look over to his right. He wants to see the gap between him and Saulės Ritter. Saulės Ritter just making a small move now, I think, to maintain his boat speed. He's got a good advantage. I think he's pretty secure for an A final position. But coming up behind him, things are starting to look very close for this third qualifying slot. So Šinec and Saulės Ritter have moved away from the rest of the field. Closest to them in the first half of the race was Filip Matej Pfeiffer from Slovenia, but he's just been rowed down by the Tunisian and Turkish scullers. So it's tight here for this third qualifying slot.
Izvrsna borba za treću poziciju. Trenutno je iz utrke otpao Slovenac Pfeiffer, ali izvrsna borba se vodi između Turske i Tunisa za treće mjesto. Izgleda da će ipak odnosno da će Turska Onat Kazakli preuzima treću poziciju i izgleda sigurno ide prema kvalifikaciji u finale.
It's Ritter and Shinnick out in front, and this battle for the third slot is starting to make some transition now, and it's the Turkish Onat Kazakli who's making the best of this. He's rowed through his rival from Tunisia, and the speed of these two boats has meant the Slovenian sculler, Filip Matej Pfeiffer, has pretty much wound down his race. He had such a fast start. He was flying out of the blocks, leading the race for the first few hundred meters, but coming through this second quarter of the race, I think he's worked out that it's going to be the B final for him. So looking through as we approach 1750, Saulius Ritter continues to lead ahead of Andrei Shinnick and Onat Kazakli.
Yeah, this is great stuff from the Turkish sculler Onat Kazakli, just making a huge charge here through the third 500 meters of this race, trying to push back up, and he's actually drawing himself nearer to Andrei Shinnick as they come into the final strokes of this race.
Upravo sada već možete i vidjeti kako dolaze skifisti druge utrke, drugog polufinala za skifove. Trenutno u vodstvu je veslač Litve, zatim češki veslač i prati ih veslač Turske. Nažalost, veslač Slovenije čini se da je krenuo prejako u prvih 1000 metara i jednostavno nije mogao izdržati ritam koji je sam sebi zadao. Tu su još i natjecatelj iz Tunisa i Mađarske.
So Andrei Shinnick just making a bit of a push just to get ahead of Saulius Ritter here. Not sure if he wants that psychological advantage or the middle lane come the A final, but he's looking set to take a spot in the A final together with Saulius Ritter of Lithuania. And then that excellent push from the Turkish sculler Onat Kazakli to get him into the A final. He'll take that spot crossing the line now. And then going through to the B final, we're looking back to the Tunisian sculler Mohamed Taib, and then Hungary 1 and Slovenia 2 will also join in the B final.
Kako možemo vidjeti, prvi je ciljem prošao veslač Češke, potom je tu bio veslač Litve, kao treći veslač Turske i potom su još prošli veslač Tunisa, Mađarske i Slovenije.
Down the course now, the second A-B semi-final of the men's single sculls. In lane 1, Poland. In lane 2, Croatia 1. In lane 3, Germany. In lane 4, Norway. In lane 5, Lithuania 2. And in lane 6, Slovenia 1.
Dakle, startala je i druga grupa polufinala muških samaca. U prvoj stazi Poljska, u drugoj Damir Martin, u trećoj Njemačka, u četvrtoj Norveška, u petoj Litva 2 i u šestoj Slovenija 1.
Some big names out there on the water right now. No surprise to see Ketelborg and Ollie Zeidler going stroke for stroke at the front of the field, Tim.
Yeah, definitely, Gillian. It's I think the toughest semi to be in the men's single, and especially this one, because we have such immense talent in this race. We have Ollie Zeidler, who didn't lead out from the start. Actually, it was the Norwegian sculler Ketelborg who took the initiative in the first half of the race, and I think Ollie Zeidler was content with Ketelborg leading the race for the first 1,000 meters, but then he just turned up the power, not rating terribly high, just 30 strokes a minute, and they don't have to anymore because these three scullers are way out in front of the field. We saw the Lithuanian sculler Giskonis fall back after 750 meters, and these three crews have now cleared themselves well. I think it's, well, 8 boat lengths. It's the deficit from the first three leading crews. So Ollie Zeidler now moving clear of Ketelborg and Damir Martin, but a comfortable race with just 500 meters left to go.
Ostalo je malo više od 500 metara. Oliver Zeidler u uvjerljivom vodstvu, dužinu ispred Ketelborga i Damir Martin je možda pola dužine iza Ketilborča. Treba napomenuti da je trka na početku izgledala puno drugčije. Do 750 metara Ketilborč je izašao otprilike pola dužine, a onda su Griskoins, Zajdler i Damir Martin bili u pola dužine i nakon 750 metara je Griskoins spustio gas, odustao i sad ova tri prva se u principu samo razveslavaju i štede energiju za finalnu utrku koja je za otprilike 4 sata. Back to you, Tim.
Lovely conditions here with 400 meters left to row. Olli Zeidler still out in front, Ketelborg in second position, and the local favorite Damir Martin in third position. These three crews look set for a place in the A final. And on the far side we see Piotr Polinski, the young Polish sculler who had a great race yesterday but had to go through the repechage, so perhaps the extra racing is paying dividends here in this semi-final. And closest to us we see the former lightweight rower Raiko Harvat I think he's in third position, but out in front it's the big guns being led by Olli Zeidler.
That's right, but such a fantastic race for Olli Zeidler, Tim, but also fantastic to see Damir Martin back on form here in his home country. So I'll pass it over to the Croatian commentary.
Dakle, evo, imamo sada mogućnost vidjeti na našoj stazi Damira Martina, srebrnog sa olimpijade, višestrukog svjetskog prvaka u četvercu Skul, kako zajedno sa dvojicom stvarno velikih skifista kao što su Oliver Zeidler i Ketilborg dolazi među prvih tri što idu u finalnu trku koja će biti kroz neka 4 sata.
Coming up to the last strokes, Olli Zeidler dropping his rate down to about 28 strokes a minute. Ketelborg dropping down to 24 strokes a minute. And Damir Martin also going with them, just tipping it along here. They will go through to the A final. These three, Olli Zeidler crossing the line first, Ketelborg in that second position, and Damir Martin taking the third spot into the A final from this AB semi-final of the men's single sculls. Coming up behind them, we have the Slovenian sculler Raiko Harvat coming through in that fourth place. He'll go through to the B final together with Poland and Lithuania too.
Dakle, kao prvi prošao je veslač Njemačke, zatim iza njega veslač iz Norveške, treći je naš Damir Martin i zatim su tu još Raiko Hrvat iz Slovenije kao četvrti, Plominski iz Poljske kao peti i šesti stiže Griskonis Mindaugas iz Litve.
On the course now, the first final of this morning's racing, the D final of the men's single sculls. In lane 1, representing Bulgaria 1, Emil Nekov, and in lane 2, representing Benin, Privil Hinkati.
I krenula je utrka D finala u skifu. To su u stazi 1 natjecatelj Bugarske, Nekov Emil, i iz Benina Hinkati Privel.
These crews just approaching the 1,000-meter mark, and I think, Kat, you're following along in the car.
Yeah, we're alongside and we've been watching this two-boat race, this D final in the men's single sculls, and it's turning into more of a processional race now as we come through halfway, because Emil Nekov, the 19-year-old from Bulgaria, has been working his way up and up on the sculler from Benin, Privel Hinkati. So Emil Nekov, really strong sculler. He's the silver medalist from the under-23s in the double, and he's the Balkan champion in junior sculling level. So there's a 19-year-old coming here to senior level. It's really good for him to make his mark here at the World Cup. And he's now got around 50 meters advantage over Privel Hinkati. So Privel Hinkati of Benin has qualified for the Olympic Games in Tokyo. He qualified at the African qualification regatta, and he has committed to that place. He's already confirmed, so he will be racing in Tokyo, and a great experience for him to be here at the World Cup for his own preparation.
Emil Nekov iz Bugarske u uvjerljivom vodstvu u finalu D. Ovo je poredak za 19. i 20. mjesto. Iza njega na distanci je Privel Hinkati iz Benina. Inače, Privelik Hinkati je se kvalificirao na afričkim kvalifikacijama za olimpijske igre, tako da će nastupiti u Tokiju u samcu. U ovoj utrci Bugar Nemkov od početka je uspostavio dominantnu ulogu, tako da sad je to više nekakav cruising prema kraju. Oboje posade drže oko 32-33 zavesla u minuti i posljednjih 500 metara Bugar ulazi sa uvjerljivim vodstvom.
We've just passed through 1500 meters. Emil Nekov goes through in 5 minutes and 26 seconds. He's increased his margin now over Privel Hinkati. So Nekov, a very strong sculler. He's very powerful. He's using that power to accelerate through the drive. There's a real sense of movement through his stroke, strong finish, and then coming back through to the recovery. So he's increased the margin by another 5 seconds ahead of his rival as he moves towards 1750.
That's right, Kat. And just a two-boat race here, of course, but really important in rowing to make sure that everybody has as many chances as possible to race when they come to a World Cup event. So we race all the way through down in the D finals to give those places 1 through. And right now we're looking at the places 19 and 20 coming in this D final of the men's single sculls. Looking quite good at the moment for the Bulgarian sculler Emil Nekov to take that place 19 overall, first in the D final as they come into the red buoys.
U vodstvu je mladi veslač iz Bugarske, ali ono što treba napomenuti da je veslač Benina, Hinkati Privel, osvojio ulaznicu za Tokio, olimpijske igre, na kvalifikacijama afričkih veslača i da na ovaj način prikuplja iskustvo za buduće nastupe kako na svjetskim prvenstvima, tako i na olimpijadi.
Emil Nekov into his final strokes here, putting in a great little sprint here, coming towards the line, looking set to take the first spot in the D final of the men's single sculls. 19th overall for the Bulgarian sculler here in Zagreb. And Privel Hinkati just making his sprint now, coming into the final strokes of his race to take 20th overall here at the World Rowing Cup 1 in Zagreb.
Dakle, u ovoj utrci prvi je prošao veslač Bugarske, a upravo će ciljem proći i natjecatelj iz Benina, kojem treba posebno čestitati jer je to sport koji nije baš uobičajen u Beninu.
On the course now, the C final of the men's double sculls. Two boats contesting this race in lane 1, Croatia 2. In lane 2, Slovakia.
I krenulo je C finale muških dublova u kojem se natječu Slovačka i druga posada Hrvatske, gdje je, čini mi se, prilično, rekli bi, neizvjesna bitka tu negdje oko 1200 metara.
Coming through the 1000-meter mark, just half a second separating these two crews, Tim.
Yeah, Gilly, I'm happy to report that this two-boat race is really exciting. The crew from Slovakia got a little march on the Croatian double out of the start. They took 3/4 of a boat length in the first 500 meters, and then basically nothing happened until I think 200 meters ago, when the Croatian double moved, made a push, and clawed back some of the deficit. Just canvas down now on the crew from Slovakia with Jakub Heronek in the stroke seat. He looks a bit tense in the upper body, but he is still maintaining a healthy stroke rhythm of 32 strokes a minute. But the Croatians are pushing with 600 meters left to go. I think the Croatians go for an early sprint.
Evo ga, približavamo se u završnici, ulazimo u zadnjih 700 metara. Fran Šuk i Goran Milovac sa svojim trenerom Srećkom Šukom sigurno su dogovorili taktiku da ih napadnu sad na kraju. Ovo je borba za 13. mjesto, znači ovo je finale C. Doslovno su 30-40 cm Slovaci ispred njih. Lagano ulaze već u nekakvu finiš, znači podižu broj zavesla i jedni i drugi, međutim Slovaci se i dalje ne daju. Treba napomenuti da je u repesažnoj utrci koja je bila juče naša ekipa bila brža otprilike 5 sekundi od njih, tako nadam se da imaju nešto u rezervi za sam kraj. Back to you, Tim.
So both crews making their international debut and having a great fight here in the C final for places 13 and 14. And it's stroke for stroke, every single stroke. You can see a little look to the right from the Slovakian strokeman as the Croatians are pushing past and going into the lead. Is this the final push for the Croatians to take the win in the C final, Gillian?
They're coming towards the red buoys, and what a fantastic race in the C final of the men's double sculls. The Croatians are just absolutely going for it, up at a 38 strokes a minute compared to 34 for Slovakia, and they've taken the lead as they come into the final stages of the race.
Dakle, iako bi netko rekao da možda u C finalu neće biti tako uzbudljivih utrka, ovo je utrka, kako bi mi veslači rekli, na nož. Naša posada Hrvatske pokušava napraviti sve, ne bi li odnijela pobjedu ispred Slovaka.
I wasn't sure if they would be able to hold on to it. The Croatians rated so highly all the way down the course, but they've got another gear here as they come into the final sprint, and they've gone up to 37 strokes a minute, staying there, trying to hold off the Slovakian crew. Two young crews out there on the water, and this is fantastic experience for them here racing at the World Rowing Cup for places 13 and 14. Coming up to the line, the home crowd must be very pleased to see the Croatians out there in the lead, looking set to take the 13th spot overall, first in the C final, and I think they're going to do it as they're into their last few strokes. Croatia 2 coming across the line to take 13th overall, and Slovakia 14th overall in the men's double sculls.
Evo, to je ono što volimo u veslanju, kada posada da sve od sebe bez obzira na to u kojoj se utrci natječe, tako da su u ovoj utrci Šuk, Fran i Gordan Milovac iz posade Hrvatska 2 pobjedili Slovake Anda Tomasa i Herohnek Jakuba.
On the course now, the C final of the men's single sculls. In lane 1, Croatia 3. In lane 2, Austria. In lane 3, Slovenia 3. Lane 4 has withdrawn. Croatia 2 has withdrawn for medical reasons. And in lane 5, Hungary 2.
U C finalu skifova u prvoj stazi Hrvatska 3, Cesarec Bores, u drugoj Austrija, u trećoj Slovenija 3 i u petoj stazi je Mađarska 2. Nažalost, naš veslač Šajn David zbog zdravstvenih problema je odustao od utrke.
Coming up towards the 1,000-meter marks, and it looks like Hungary, Christoph Ax is making the best of it at this stage in the race, Kat.
Yeah, Christoph Ax from Hungary has had a very good first half of the race here. He pulled out to an early lead and he's held that through to 1,000 meters, but it's this point in the race where that lead is going to change. And Austria's Lukas Reim has just pulled through into the front. So Lukas Reim, such a high rating sculler, he's come the whole way down the course at 39 strokes a minute. He's just taking it along with this rhythm. The boat's moving along really well and it looks very sustainable for this high rate. So that move now from him past 1,000 meters has taken him half a length ahead of Christoph Ax. So these two scullers have clear water over the rest of the field. Third place, the Slovenian Miha Alanjec and Boris Cesarec for Croatia back and forth.
800 metara do kraja vodi se borba između Austrijanca Reima i Mađara Aca za prvo mjesto, ali izgleda u ovom trenutku Lukas Reim iz Austrije preuzima inicijativu nakon što je prvi dio utrke Mađar izrazito visokim tempom držao prvo mjesto, ali čini se sada da će Austrijanac prema kraju utrke preuzeti inicijativu, tako se i događa. On inače na nedavnom Europskom prvenstvu u Varese veslao u četvercu skuli, tamo bio 5. u finalu, dok je Mađarac Kristof veslao u samcu te bio 6. u finalu C. U ovoj utrci nastupa i za Hrvatsku Boris Cesarec, trenutno u borbi za 3. poziciju, polako stiže Slovenca Aljančića i to će biti prema kraju utrke zanimljiva borba za 3. mjesto.
Lucas Reim still leads this as we come through the third timing marker. I see him just glancing over to his left. He wants to see what the margin is ahead of his rival from Hungary. He's got a good advantage now, Lucas Reim. He's going to go through 1,500 meters with a couple of seconds now ahead. I'm just waiting for these times to come through. So 2.5 seconds ahead of Hungary. Lucas Reim still ticking it along at a high rate, 39 strokes a minute. It's not a long stroke, but it's very smooth and very precise. He moves his hands so quickly around the back end of the stroke and then he's straight on to the next one. And this ticking rhythm has taken him to a good advantage ahead of the Hungarians. So acres of clear water now, back to third place. The Slovenian Scala, Miha Aljancic, who had a solid third place, is now being attacked by the Croatian Boris Cesarec. Boris Cesarec making a push to take that third place.
That's right. We've got some exciting racing here in the C final of the men's single sculls. Impressive stuff from Lucas Reim of Austria out in the lead, but I'm very curious to see if this Croatian and Slovenia challenge here at the back of the field, how that shapes up as they come through towards the finish line.
Približavaju se cilju i skifisti finala C. Trenutno u vodstvu se nalazi Austrijanac, iza njega Mađar, a zanimljiva je borba za 3. mjesto između veslača Hrvatske, našeg Borisa Cesarca, i Slovenije Mihe Aljančića.
They're racing for places 13 to 16 here in the C final of the men's single sculls, and Lucas Reim taking it up to 41 strokes a minute. As Kat mentioned, he raced so high, rated so high all the way down the course, and he's taken it up even higher here, 41 strokes a minute as he comes towards the finish line, looking set to take the first spot in the C final of the men's single sculls, 13th overall. But a nice challenge from Hungary too as they come up towards the line, just trying to push up on the Austrian, but a very close finish across the line. I'm going to think that it's the Austrian ahead of Hungary to Christoph Ax, but let's wait for that confirmation to come up on the screen. Coming through in the third place of this C final is Slovenia 3, and then coming through in fourth, Croatia 3.
Dakle, u ovom zanimljivom finišu kao prvi prošao je veslač iz Austrije, iza njega je veslač Mađarske, potom je veslač Slovenije i kao četvrti je stigao i naš Boris Cesarec, svaka čast.
So I can confirm that Lucas Reim coming through in first in the C final of the men's single sculls. Christoph Ax of Hungary taking that second spot, just 0.32 seconds behind him, and then behind the two of them, Slovenia 3 and Croatia 3. Coming down the course now, the B final of the men's pair. Just 2 boats contesting this race. Hungary 2 in lane 1 and Croatia 2 in lane 2.
I sada smo na finalu B dvojaca na pariće. U stazi 1 je mađarska druga posada i u stazi 2 hrvatska druga posada, Borković Karlo i Vuković Ivan.
It's another close one for you there, Tim. Coming through the 1,000-meter marks, just a second separating these two crews.
Yeah, Gilly, it's really close. We've just passed the 1,000-meter mark, and it's been a great race so far. The Hungarian crew went out hard in the first 250 meters, took half a boat length out of the Croatian pair next to them, and then they tried to increase that lead, moved out to almost a boat length, but the rate of striking of these very young crews, because both crews are making their international debut at senior level. It's great to see. It's youthful and enthusiasm here, because the rate of that Hungarian crew is up in the 39, almost 40 strokes a minute. So that's finishing rhythms already, but it's paying dividends for the Hungarian crew, because they just broke clear of the crew from Croatia, who are clinging on for dear life and raising the rate 37 strokes a minute with 550 meters left to go.
Ostalo je 600 metara do kraja. Mađari su napravili jedno ubrzanje, možda i samoubilačko, digli su tempo na 39.40 i izbili su dužinu ispred naših. Ja se nadam da će Borković i Vuković smoći snage sad u finišu da kazne u jednu riječ Mađare. Čuo sam njihovog trenera Denisa Bobana kako viče i bodri ih i mislim da bi to moglo uroditi plodom. Nadam se da će ubrzati sad i učiniti ovu trku zanimljivom. Ovo je B finale i poredak je od 7. do 8. mjesta. U prethodnoj trci sam rekao da su Fran Šuk i Gordan Milovac pod paskom Srećka Šuka, što je naravno bilo krivo. Trener je Ante Dragović, a svi kao što znamo je Srećko Šuk je od Damira Martina Damša trener. Back to you.
Yeah, it's really, I'm really baffled, because the crew from Hungary are maintaining 40 strokes a minute for the better part of 700 meters, with just 250 meters left to the finishing line. They maintain 39 strokes a minute, but the Croatians have responded, taking it up to 38, 39 strokes a minute, so matching the crew from Hungary with 250 meters to go.
Such a fantastic race for these young athletes out there on the water. What an incredible performance from Hungary, keeping that high rate of striking. But can Croatia get back even with them as they come up towards the line?
Dakle, nevjerovatno je gledati ovakvu utrku sa tako visokim brojem zaveslaja u dvojicima bez tako mladih posada. Trenutno je još uvijek u vodstvu posada Mađarske, ali čini mi se da posada Hrvatske, Borković i Vuković, posada Gusara, inače možda može ugroziti, s obzirom da su stvarno digli finiš i daju sve od sebe u ovih zadnjih 50 metara.
That's a brave race from both of these crews out there on the water, racing at 40 strokes a minute now, coming up towards the line. Hungary coming across to take the first place in the B final of the men's pair, 7th overall. Croatia, too, will take the second spot in the B final and 8th overall in the men's pair.
Dakle, prva je prošla posada Mađarske, drugi su dečki iz Hrvatske, Borković i Vuković. Obje posade trebaju dobiti stvarno naše veliko priznanje za ovako zanimljivu utrku u dvojacima bez.
On the course now, the B final of the women's single sculls. Just two crews contesting this race, in lane 1, Croatia, and in lane 2, Moldova.
Krenulo je i B finale ženskih skifova. U stazi 1 je naša Bruna Milinović, a u stazi 2 veslačica Moldavije Narivončić Julija.
Two young scullers out there on the course, and they're coming up on the 900-meter mark, and I think Kat is following along out there on the water.
Yeah, we're alongside as they come towards 1,000 meters, and we're really enjoying watching this two-boat race. So through the first quarter of the race, it was very close between these two. The second quarter, we've really seen Bruna Milinović of Croatia start to edge away from her Moldovan rival. So coming through halfway, she's now got a length lead over Julia Narivončić of Moldova. So Bruna Milinovic started her rowing career back in 2016 at junior level. She competed in the junior women's pair, came back again the following year, 2017, in the women's four, and they were junior world champions that year in 2017. And here we see her make the transition into sculling, making a comeback into the elite level of rowing at senior level. And she's a really tidy sculler. It's a very loose rhythm she has here, very calm looking. She's moving the boat really nicely, and she's holding on to that length advantage over Julia Narevončić of Moldova.
900 metara do kraja utrke, Bruna Milinović za Hrvatsku prelazi u vodstvo. U prvom dijelu utrke imali smo izjednačenu situaciju. Julija Narevončić iz Moldavije je držala kontakt, ali sada naša Bruna je izbila na prvo mjesto i ide sigurno prema cilju. Naša Bruna inače svjetska juniorska prvakinja u četvercu bez, isto kao i europska juniorska prvakinja u četvercu bez 2017. U ovom natjecaju nastupa u skifu i čini se da će doći do pobjede u B finalu.
So the Moldovan sculler Julia Narevončić is finding herself half a length of clear water down on her rival. So Julia Narevončić, 21 years of age. She competed in the Under-23 World Championships back in 2019. She was in the B final there, finishing in 5th place. And we see her here. She's moved from the lightweight category from that Under-23 Championships here into the heavyweight category. And we see she has a slighter frame than her rival, and a different rowing style can be seen because of these factors. So there's a lot more power from the Croatian stroke. She's also rating higher. We see the rating differential, the Croatian at 34 strokes a minute, from Moldova at 30 strokes a minute.
500 metara do cilja, Bruna je još povećala vodstvo, ima nešto veći broj zaveslaja od Moldavke koja vesla nekih 30 zaveslaja, Bruna je na 34. Prešli smo oznaku od 500 metara i Bruna preuzima totalnu kontrolu nad ovom utrkom, znači 400 metara prije cilja u uvjerljivom vodstvu.
So coming through this third timing marker, Bruna Milinović for Croatia has just taken it up a little bit. She's increased this margin now. She's pushed on. She's taken the rate up by 1 pip. It's increased her speed, and that's holding her with a clear advantage over Julia Narevončić from Moldova. So the Moldovan sculler has responded a little bit. She's looking to her right. She can see the puddles from the Croatian sculler. She knows what the distance is. She's increased her rate to 31 strokes a minute, but I don't think she's got enough water or enough power to be able to catch her Croatian rival. So coming through 1750 metres in this B final of the women's single sculls, it's Bruna Milinović leading for Croatia.
That's right. We have a Croatian out in the lead in this B final of the women's single sculls. Such a patient race from Bruna Milinović out there on the water, just trying to establish that lead and then maintaining it. It's a good position to be in, looking back at your rival out there and knowing that you've got just about 200 meters left to race.
Gillian, let me tell you one thing. It's so inspiring to see the young rowers which are just starting their senior career in the rowing, giving them all they have. Doesn't matter what kind of a race it is. Is it a A final, B final, C final? They're trying to make impression not only to others but also to themselves, because they were training for this. So it's so important that you give everything you have. Doesn't matter when or how, but everything that you have, and then the place is just a number. It's the most important thing, as Bruna now done, is coming first. Yeah,
that's absolutely right. And she just did. She came across the line first in the B final of the women's single sculls to take that 7th spot overall. Moldova finishing in the 8th spot overall. But as you said, Branko, a fantastic race, good experience for these young athletes. On the course now, the B final of the lightweight men's double sculls. In lane 1, Turkey 2, and in lane 1, Turkey 1.
I sada jedna rekli bi tako rekoć utrka iz domaćih ekipa. Naime, natječu se posada Turske 1 i posada Turske 2 za lightweight men double scull ili ti ga laki veslači u dvojcu na pariće.
It's a little bit of inter-team rivalry out there on the water, Tim.
Definitely, Gillian. It's been absolutely marvelous to see these two crews battling it out. It was very close in the first 500 meters, but then the second crew from Turkey with Bayram Sones in the bow seat really pulled away in the middle 1,000 there, and they're just trucking along very nicely. The water is perfectly flat, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely wonderful rowing conditions. As the leading Turkish crew close into the third timing mark, they are I think 5 or 6 boat lengths up on their teammates, who are having a great race too, but having to acknowledge the fact that the more senior crew in this race is well ahead of them with 500 meters to go.
500 metara do kraja, dubl lakih, finale B, Turska 2 je u prednosti otprilike 6-7 dužina. I dalje ne posustaju, drže dosta visok broj, otprilike 38 zaveslaja. Oni su malo starija ekipa i vidim da nemaju milosti prema mlađoj ekipi. U repesažu su također bili otprilike 18 sekundi brži od Turske 1, tako da vidjet ćemo na kraju kolika će biti razlika. Back to you, Tim.
Wonderful flowing motion from the leading Turkish crew, just 38 strokes a minute, and they maintain a very high boat speed at this stage, looking really smoothly. A little look to the left from the bowman of the leading crew, looking where they are with just 250 meters to go. It's the Turkish crew in the white boat out in front by a huge margin, Gillian.
Yeah, dominant performance from the second Turkish boat here as they come up towards the finish line. This crew coming out of that Turkish lightweight men's four and having a little bit of a tussle between the two crews here, but a very dominant performance from Turkey too.
Turska 2, kao što se može vidjeti, je prilično dominantna ispred posade 1 Turske i za nekoliko zaveslaja proći će prvi ciljem u B finalu lakih dvojaca na pariće.
As they're coming into their last few strokes here, Turkey too looking set to take the first spot in the B final of the lightweight men's double scull, 7th place overall here at the World Rowing Cup 1 in Zagreb. They just come across the line now, and Turkey 1 looking set to take that second spot in the B final. That's 8th place overall. That wraps up a fantastic morning session of racing here at the World Rowing Cup 1 in Zagreb. We have a little bit of a break now. We come back at 12:15 for the B final of the men's double sculls. We then have the B final of the men's single sculls, and then we get into the A finals, the medal finals here starting at 12:35.
Dakle, prijepodnevni dio utrka je upravo završio i krećemo ponovno sa B finalima u 12 sati i 15 minuta, kada će biti B finale za skifove muške i lake skifove žena. A do tada lijepo vas pozdravljam, uživajte ovdje na Jarunu, nadam se da ćete lijepo provesti 1. svibnja. A od 12 sati i 15 minuta Gillian i ja ćemo vas ponovno informirati o svemu što se događa na stazi.
Thanks to everyone for tuning in this morning.